On today's Sherpa review, Giuseppe shares insights into Chinese buying preferences with numeric domains. Drew Rosner talks about one of his favorite sales of all time and some domains he regrets listing that are up for auction right now. Shane says he's finally gotten regular with domain sales, and of course, how you can too. Stay tuned. Hey, Sherpa Network, thanks for joining us today. I'm Tess Diaz, executive producer of DomainSherpa.com, and this is the Sherpa Review. This is a show where we get into the minds of successful domain name investors using real-world examples so we can learn strategies and tactics to become better investors ourselves. We have 3 segments to the review, and I'm pretty sure you're all used to them. Joining us today, we have Giuseppe Graziano. Hi, Giuseppe, how you doing?
Hey, Tess, I'm doing good.
Good. And Domain Shane, what's happening? I heard it was snowing recently. You're already seeing
it wasn't real snow, but it was visible snow, which is pretty early for Illinois. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Considering it was 82 3 days before that. So
what?
Wow.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
Mr. Drew Rosner, hello.
Hello.
Delighted you guys are joining us today. You ready to get started? Let's do this. First segment, what's new Sherpas? Share one purchase or sale you've made over the past few weeks, and don't say the price. Shane, you're up first.
Well, I'm going to give one. Really, I think Drew and you, Tess, we talked about it afterward just because it's a funny one. So Giuseppe's really going to be the only one that guesses on this one, but there's a good story behind it. So the name is a sale, and it's Yards with a Z, YARDZ.com.
So I actually, honest to God, I truly actually don't even remember what the price was.
Okay, well, that's good. So then you can guess again. Pretend like you.
Shane, aren't you the guy on the very last Sherpa review who was dissing domains that end with a Z?
Well, I think I started it. Like, I put the ball on the tee, and then Drew just beat the hell out of the tee. But that's the funny thing is we just got through saying that putting a Z in place of an S makes no sense, and don't think that you're going to get the same money. And when it's all said and done, that's partially true. I think what it'll prove is it has some value. It's just not as good as Yards with an S. But don't what we really meant to say in hindsight is don't expect the same money as the good name, but don't go and throw a Z on every single word you find and expect to sell it. In this case, it was, if it's a good premium word and you throw a Z on there, it's going to be valuable to somebody.
And it's only a 5-letter. That's different than putting a Z at the end of a 3-word.
Yeah. Yeah. Marketplace services with a Z or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. And Giuseppe, what do you think? You guess first.
Did he buy it or sold it? Did you buy it?
I sold it.
Yeah.
Sold it.
I would say 5K.
Giuseppe's there thinking, man, I wish I got to that first. Okay, 5K. What do you think, Drew?
I'm going to say 3,500.
All right. So does Drew read your emails or not? What just said?
Yeah, no, Drew's right on the money. It was, he knows me. We've been on the same show. He knows that any of the bigger ones I can't really talk about. Not that I've had any, but I pretend like I did. So I say I don't have them. That's see how that works. That's, that's the key to domain investing is you say you have tons of huge sales, but everything's under NDA. And then you reveal your After Nick buy it now is like I'm doing here. After Nick's been good to me this year. I can't deny it. That name gets all the time. It got interest, but it was $100, $200. Finally, I just put a $3,800 buy it now on it, and boom. There's just people who just don't want to negotiate. I literally before the show I was wondering what they were, and it's a rental company that operates rental yards where you can rent a big equipment and you can book online. It's a nice site. And, I think there's something to be said about that. It's no different than CarMax. There's just some people in that range $3,800. They don't want to negotiate. They want to get back and forth. They just want to buy it. And it's worked really well for me lately. And I'm glad I made that move. And I look back and I bought it in 2013 and I paid $80 for it. So that's not too bad of a return for sitting on it for 5 years.
That's beautiful. Now, how long after you
Not bad at all. Hell of a sale, if you ask me. I mean,
Yeah.
I
And it had to
spent
be.
15 minutes telling you how they're worthless last week. So.
And I'm not kidding you. Within 2 hours of that conversation, of that recording, it came in and sold. That's why I emailed you, because it couldn't have been any funnier timing. I thought someone was playing with me, but I realized we haven't even published it yet.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's wild.
So it worked out well.
Now, how long after you put the buy it now price on Afternic did it sell? How quickly?
Less than a year. I haven't had my stuff on Afternic really priced competitively for more than a year. I've had it on Afternic for a while, but everything was really high and not, honestly, in my opinion, not realistic of what a company would come in and snatch it for quickly.
So you had it 4 years with an unrealistic price, or with a just make an offer where you're getting the 100?
I had make an offer for I'd say 4 years, and then about 2 years ago I went and put it at like 12,000 or something along those lines, and then I just brought it all down. But I will say, during that mass pricing, if you remember one show, I mispriced 90x instead of $10,000. I put it at 500, and somebody bought it within an hour of me posting it on. So I'm still trying to make up for the mass rechange of pricing. Be very careful as you reprice everything.
Be careful too when you do it in bulk more than once. Not you, Drew, but more than once when I worked at GoDaddy, there were like major names in domaining, and I saw their wife's name listed.
Yeah,
There's
something.
A mistake, or there's a nasty divorce going on.
Yeah, no, there's something to be said about quick transfer. Quick can be bad as well for some sides of it.
Yep.
In this case, it worked really well, and whatever we talk about badly or don't like, I'll hopefully sell again as well.
Nice, very nice. Well, congrats. Good sales.
With a Z.
All right, Giuseppe, you're up.
All right. So the domain name is jlj.com. No, just 3 letters. jlj.com.
Repeating J's. JLJ.
Nice.
This was sold through the platform, through LXMe.
Okay.
Who's going first?
Okay. So it's up to you guys. Sold through Giuseppe's new platform, lxme.com, right?
Correct.
Very nice. All right. Who's guessing?
I'll go. We talked about this last show, that the 3-letter names have gotten into an interesting point where there's some coming through some newsletters that are pretty good priced. And I thought that it would end after we talked about it and a couple of people picked some stuff off. But another list came last week, and there's a couple names on there that are strong names under $30,000. So JLJ, I'll say exactly that. I'll say it's a liquidation market, meaning people want to get out and they want to get their money quickly. So I will say I'll say 28,000. I know the JLJ's, the repeater's really nice, but that market can be all over the board right now because J in the United States is not super popular. I'll just say 28,000 liquidation price.
Okay, 28,000. You're right. It is definitely a buyer's market. Drew, what do you think?
I think that's probably pretty close. I'm going to say 25.5.
Okay.
He's got a big smile on his face.
I don't know. I think it's in that range. I mean, what I'm seeing is where these things are clearing is in that 22 to 32 range, like right in there. The really crappy stuff is, 16, 17, 18. There's really not much to be bought anymore in like good in that 20, 22, 23, 24 range. And so it's like, then you've got like the mid-tier good names, which like JLJ, you know, J, like Shane said, not an ideal letter, but it's a repeater, and it sure looks good, right? I mean, if you imagine that logo. So yeah, I think you know, I think probably 20. I'll say 25.5. I probably would have said 28 too. I probably would have said exactly what Shane said, but I'll say 25.5.
Okay, 25.5 and 28 even. All right, Giuseppe, lay it on us.
All right. I think you guys are pretty awesome and got very close to what the sales price is. And the sale price was 29.5K.
Excellent. Always good when you are the market and you sold above what our expectations are.
Yeah.
And actually, it's a pretty interesting story because basically the first time this was one of the domains included in those newsletters you guys are talking about. So it was like, you know, being sold from China to the West. At some point, I actually had a client that was very interested in getting domains, and it was for a lower price. And we almost got a deal. There was just like a difference of 1K until like this buyer decided at the last minute to not jump that 1 more K, and it just like, you know, gave up, didn't buy the domain. And basically another person bought it, and it just listed on the platform. And within 2 weeks, he got, you know, he sold it for like 29.5K, actually making a profit. So I'm very happy because of that, because that means that there's a lot of liquidity. And when people list domains on the marketplace, you're gonna get offers, and there's gonna be people buying those. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that is an interesting story. Now we've had, we talked about these domains coming out of China last DomainSherpa, and a number of people asked, how do they get on that list, or how do they find out about those names? Is that really an option, or is it more of a private list?
yeah, I mean, like we've been trying to even like have those domains on our platform. It's just that we asked the sellers, and they do not allow us to have it on the platform. However, like for anyone who's interested, they can just reach out, and like we have all the lists, and we are trying to give the list. Just we cannot do it publicly. We cannot publish the price and all that kind of stuff. So,
Okay.
so definitely, like if anybody's interested, they can just reach out. Yeah.
Okay. How
And
do you
that-
want them to
that
reach out
being-
to you?
But
What's
on
that?
that particular list, sorry to interrupt, you should sign up for every domain newsletter that you see, whether it doesn't matter who the broker is. And I can't remember, it's the QEIP, you guys would know, but these aren't private lists. This isn't some good old boys club that we get accused of being part of. This is a list where I go and type my email into it, and they come. And I'm sure you can find it on any of the forums or any of the, there's lots of good lists. There's 5 or 6 that come fairly regularly. None of them come as regular as they used to in the past years, but there's still some out there.
Except ours. Every Tuesday.
Yeah. So I forget about Media Options. Media Options is a good one. The lady on the right-hand side, at least on my screen, is the one that sends it out, and Drew. Yeah, they're all good. I mean, you need to see what things are going for. Everybody's willing to take a negotiation price on these 3 letters. We actually put in a couple offers a little bit lower than the price, and it was a no-go. They knew they were pretty tight prices on most of those. So, but yeah, those are you should always sign up for newsletters. It never hurts to read and see. And one of these days, you'll find the name you've always wanted that comes up for sale.
I like it. The name you've always wanted. So Drew, tell us something you bought or sold, the name someone always wanted.
I think I'm the only one that wanted this name. Fishmongers.com.
Did you sell it? Like finally?
I bought it.
Didn't you own Fishmonger singular?
No, I wish I wanted. No.
Was that your email? How was that?
You want too much money, you know.
Yeah.
No.
Where
I've
did
been
that
talking
name
to her
come
for
up
years.
though?
Huh?
Didn't you use it? What'd you use it for? I know you were the fishmonger forever. What was you had spearfish?
Yeah, but I
you
never
called
had
yourself the
fishmonger or fishmongers. Never had it.
How do I
Drew
keep
used the
calling you
username,
that though?
and he
Well, because that's just the
identified.
generic term for like anybody who sells fish is a fishmonger.
Maybe I've just heard you say it so many times. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. So there, yeah, hard to imagine how many other people might want this domain. But Shane, you had a lot of opinions on it. What's your opinion on what you think Drew paid for a sentimental domain that probably no one else wants?
There's probably some guy in like on the shore that I'll take that name. I'll give you $12. I would think that Drew, boy, it's definitely a private buy because I haven't seen it come across anything. So
It was owned by Schilling.
oh, Frank,
Oh, wow.
you could have pulled in a fate.
I don't know if you can say this, but did you ever talk to him about it? And did he buy it because he just happened to have had it, or did
He's had it since 2002.
What?
He's had
He's
it
had it
since-
since 2002.
Okay, so probably.
I still think you called in a favor.
No.
No, you had to go through. All right, I'll just say 6,500. I don't know why. I just feel like you had a good month and you figured, I know you have a good month, and then you go out and buy some names that you just want to put on your board. So I'll say 6,500.
All right. Okay. Giuseppe, what do you think?
Yeah, before, like you said about shilling, I was thinking something like 1.8, but because you said shilling, maybe I'd say 5K.
All right. Drew, you feeling good about your purchase now or not?
Yes, you guys are pretty spot on. I paid 5K. You know, it was not a big story, but it was kind of funny. I mean, it was literally months back and forth. I mean, not like daily, it was like every couple of weeks an email. And it wasn't with Frank, it was with one of his brokers. And I had inquired on this name, I don't even know the first time, years ago. And they have those like automated emails.
I was just about to say, are you still interested in Boldo?
Take a hike, go fuck yourself, and they just keep sending them. And it probably 90% of the time those go to waste, right? It's just spam. But 1 out of 10 times, it comes in at just the right time. You go, yeah, you know what? I still like that name. I'll throw an offer. So that's basically what happened. Is like you said, it was a good month. This guy came in at just the right moment. Hey, you're still interested in fishmongers.com. I threw like a low ball. I don't remember what it was, $2,000 or something at him. And, I think they'd always been asking 10 or 12, 15, something like that. And he came back and said, well, look, end of the month, we'll do, he said 10, 9 or something. And I said, nah, forget about it. And he came back and said 7,500, something like that. There's a few back and forth. And I said, look, I'll give you $5,000. All right, that's it. I don't want to negotiate. I don't need the name. I probably shouldn't even buy it. It's literally probably money in the toilet, but I want it. I'll give you $5,000 for it. Take it or leave it. And they came back at 6,500. And they were firm. They were telling me 6,500. And I said, and then I'll tell you what, I'm going to call him out on this which I don't generally like to do, but I'm going to call him out because this was bullshit. And he said, oh, we've got another buyer for the name. I said, that is terrific.
I told you that guy in Boston.
Please go sell it to him. So the funniest part was that the guy, so maybe another week went by, and I said, how's it going? We're selling it to the other guy. And he goes back and then Jeff got involved. So this was one of the other brokers. And then Jeff writes me back and he's like, don't push me. I'm going to sell it to Sammy. And I'm like, Sammy? Who the hell are you talking about? And he's like, your buddy Sammy. He's going to buy it. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then, then I got on the phone with him and he's like, yeah, I'm selling it to this guy Sam who I call him Chowder. That's why I didn't even click. And he thought he was going to sell it to Chowder, who I used to work with when I was in the fish business. And apparently he inquired about it, or I don't know. But I know Chowder very, very well. And I knew Chowder wasn't paying $5,000 or anything more than that. And so I was like, please, by all means, sell it to Chowder. My offer's off the table. And then, I don't know, 2 weeks later, no email. I just, in my Uniregistry account, in the shopping cart, it says fishmongers.com, $5,000. And, click to buy. So I just fuck it. I did it.
That's awesome.
That's really smart.
Is that what
are you going
happens
to do with
too?
it?
If they make you an offer, they put it in your cart that you can go and buy anytime?
I bought a few names from them, and I don't think that's how it went down. Like, I think once you usually agree, I think that's usually how it happens.
Oh, I gotcha.
But there was no real discussion about it.
That's really smart though, to have that sitting there in the account. If they could do that, go, hey, ding, 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 buy it, want it.
One click.
It's there for you. It's yours for the taking.
Yeah. That is a good story. Anytime you bring up chowder, I love when you bring up chowder stories.
Chowder.
Yeah, you're creating some imaginary guy down on the shore, Shane. Drew's got a real one, and no less.
I've got the real guy.
Yeah.
He's like 6'7", close to 400 pounds. Big dude.
Fantastic.
Big dude. Sells a lot of fish.
Drew, what do you plan to do with the name?
The same.
I was thinking about it actually this morning. I love smoked fish, and I was like, I should just launch like a smoked fish business on fishmongers.com, but I'll probably never do that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember a long time ago, Michael Gilmore, I don't know if he still does, but he started a blog about flying, because basically he had taken up flying and was enjoying it, and he wanted a way to make it a tax write-off. So he started a whole business around his blog on flying. So you like smoking your fish, you want to buy you a new fancy fish. Some people have wine cellars. You're going to have you're going to have a smoking cellar. You can smoke fish and maybe something else. I don't know.
That's smart.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Hey, let's jump in. I'll give you a minute here where we'll talk about our sponsors who support us in our educational mission, and then we'll jump into the next segment of the show. Okay.
First, serious about online trading? Secure your funds, keep your merchandise safe, and use a company that keeps the buyer and seller protected the whole way through. That's escrow.com. Payments you can trust.
All right. In the domain portfolio review, we take user-submitted domain name portfolios and provide honest and constructive feedback to the owners so they can cut their losses, continue to hold them long-term, or figure out a sales strategy going forward. You guys have those lists in front of you. Today's list was sent over by Keith DeBoer and Giuseppe. I thought at least half of the list you would particularly like because it's a bunch of 4 letters. What do you guys think? Let's start with you, Giuseppe.
Yeah, so that's first of all, I love the list. I think there's a lot of names, a lot of 4-letter names, and also I love Cave because I want to give it a shout out because he always writes very insightful articles. So, and is overall a great guy. So I really enjoy to do this. I really like all of the names on the list. The ones I probably like the most are Eloy, if you pronounce that way. I also like eHop and Ovux, so OVUX. So those one are the ones I like the most, mostly because they're pronounceable. They're like BCBC, so it means vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant. And the great things about those kind of names is that they're liquid, so you can always sell it for a minimum floor price. And for those kind of good vowel, consonant, you can at least sell it for normally at least 1K. Plus, you have the opportunity to sell to an end user. So I really, really like those names. In terms of what I don't like, there's nothing really that I really dislike. Maybe Talkers Anonymous. I don't know, I don't know what it can be used for. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks. So 25 domains. Drew, you have some thoughts on some different names?
Sure. So I totally agree with Giuseppe. Keith is a great guy and does write very insightful, intelligent articles. So thank you, Keith, for sending in your portfolio. I don't love the list quite as much as Giuseppe does, but there are some good names in here. So the one I like probably the most is eHop. And really the reason I like that one is we sold hop.com, which was one of my favorite sales of all time, just because hop.com used to be hooked on phonics, H-O-P, hop. And with that deal, we sold also the 1-800-ABCDEFG toll-free number, which I think is the most, memorable toll-free number of all time. Hooked on phonics, works for me, dial 1-800-ABCDEFG. If you don't remember that, you're too young. And the other name I like on here, I like whybud.com, just because, it's Bud. I like all Bud, even whybud. And there was another one I like. Oh, I know, Grass Hero. So I think, it's tough. These brandable names like grasshero.com, it's tough because it's a numbers game. Like, I think grasshero.com is a great brand. The reason I think it's a particularly great brand is because you've got things like Delivery Hero, who is huge. And so the idea of like this, something hero is ingrained in people's minds of, oh, I want to order some food. I can go on Delivery Hero. And well, now I want to order some grass. I can go on Grass Hero. Grass being a slang word for cannabis, which is, exploding as a market. And so I think grasshero.com is a good brand. I think that it, I think you could do well with that name. It's not going to be a huge sale. It's probably something between 5 and 15 grand when you get the right end user. Probably best to put, buy it now on that name and somebody's deciding. That's the kind of name in most cases. Probably it's somebody deciding between 4 or 5 names and they go, all right, well, Grass Hero's got a $75, $88 buy it now price on it. That's easy. The rest I got to negotiate. Let me just click buy it now. So I think that's probably.
They'll just look and it'll be in their shopping cart.
Yeah. So yeah, and then like I don't know. There's a few on here I don't like. Up Ether. Not a big fan on that one. Leniently, not a big fan. There's a few in here. Astro Tough, I guess that could be a decent brand. But yeah, overall, pretty decent list. Century Travel is another, good brand. Again, you got to have a pretty good stable of those brandables in order to keep turning them over.
Good point. Okay. Thank you, Drew. How about you, Shane? What stands out to you?
All right. Well, I'm in the same wagon as these other guys. Keith is a real asset in the industry. He's got the best mustache in the industry. Good dresser, writes good articles. I mean, he's a true asset in the industry, and he does a great job. So that being said, I'm a little harder on him because he's been doing this a while, and from his writing, you can tell he knows what he's doing. But I think on this list, I was a little disappointed. When I saw Keith's names were going to be here, I thought he had built up a little better stable of names. These aren't going to take you to the afterlife, financially. These are the kind of names you kind of have to sit and wait. There's some liquidity in those 4-letter.coms. But I really thought Keith would have a little bit better names. And I'm assuming he turned in his best names because everybody, wants to show off a little bit and get opinion. But I like some of the names, and obviously he can get some money, but Keith's an intelligent guy. He knows what he's doing. I think he's going to build a much stronger portfolio than this in the future. I agree with everybody else. I really liked Grass Hero, but Drew and I are in 2 different industries. My Grass Hero was a guy to mow your lawn. I mean, there is a ton of money. Landscape names and grass services are huge. I mean, when I got into the nursery business, I tried to think, what does everybody need? And in Illinois, everybody puts down mulch, everybody cuts their grass, and everybody plows their driveway. And if you can be a part of something like that, not everybody buys grass, not of course the people that do buy a lot, but everybody has their lawn mowed if they have grass. So I think that's a great name. And the Hero, it's just a trendy, good naming convention right now. The EHOP was the second favorite for me on those names. So, and I like all 4letter.coms. I just think that they're liquid. You can get out, you can get your money back. I don't feel you're going to be rich on most of them. You could get lucky with some better letters, but those aren't the greatest letters. What I don't like, and I think he knows better, is I don't like getting funny with stuff. You can be fun and you can buy names and you can do one-offs, but you're just not going to make a lot of money. And like left, right, if it was left, right with an R, you'd be fine, but it's a play on words and you're spelling it completely wrong. And somebody's definitely going to name a blog. Somebody will think that's cute. They're just not going to pay a lot of money for it. And he did the same thing with AstroTurf instead of AstroTurf. I just think it's a one-off and it's a cutesy name that people just aren't going to pay a lot of money for. So you can play the game where you can have a whole list of that, but it's just to me getting too cute and too fun, and you just don't want a ton of those names because they're just going to sit there forever and it's going to be a fun topic. It's going to be a funny email. It's not going to make you a lot of money. The other thing is the Lee names. .ly is popular, but it can't be these one-off words. Leniently, I can't even say it without tongue twisting. So trying to put it up there and sell it. So I just think there's some things that, again, I know Keith is really good at what he does. I can tell from his writing. I don't like the emoji. I know he's a big emoji guy. I do feel he's wasting his time in the emoji, but Seiger will tell me completely differently that emojis are fun. But I think he knows what he's doing. He's going to be there. He's a true asset, and this list is only going to get better with time.
Thanks, Shane. So say like Left, Right, and AstroTurf. What would you recommend? Sounds like you'd recommend a buy it now that's pretty low. How low? Or are you thinking,
Yeah, I mean, to me, I can't imagine those went for a ton of money. To me, I'm a $888 to $1888 and let them go a couple years. I know $8 or $9 is not a lot, but even with my smaller portfolio, I just realized I had a couple hundred names that were just $8 me to death, and I never got an offer, and I just trimmed it down and tried to, now I'm down to maybe 400 names, but my 400 names have a chance to sell. They're not anything that you're going to look at and go, wow, you got a Porsche sitting there. It's not like that, but I know that it's a name like WEEBA, Weeba.com. Weeba's not for everybody, but it's a 5-letter brand that somebody someday will hit. Much stronger than AstroTurf. I'm sure there's somebody that's going to, but it's a much, it's more confined of a name. So I just think that you got to watch your $8 at your portfolio. Now, I say this, and Josh, my partner at DSAD's got, I don't know how many tens of thousands of those, and he'll beg to differ. But he is a rare diamond in the rough that seems to be able to pick names that most people would say no, but there's enough people that say yes that more than pay for it. And I've seen the sales. It's not going to be public data, but anybody who says that the numbers game can't be won, I got a guy that'll prove you wrong.
Yeah, and
that doesn't mean you can't be smart about it.
Than the rule, yeah. Now, I'm surprised none of you mentioned Fitness Fad. And while I'm at it, I'll just throw out there, Get Mindfulness. Mindfulness is big thing. No, would you renew those?
Well, insurance is a big thing, but I mean, if you put, insurance mouse, it doesn't make it a good domain.
Okay.
And fad, if you're trying to sell something, the last thing you want to do is put fad at the end of it.
So would you let those both expire?
I would.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
I might not catch it. It probably would automatically renew and stay in my portfolio another year, but.
Right.
And Shane, that is why we have you on, because you admit it.
Oh, no, there's very few things I've done in life that most people don't share the same experience. I mean, we've all done it where you go, ding, ding, you get the renew and you're like, oh, yeah. I didn't want to renew it last year.
Yeah,
Oh man, I totally get you.
Yeah.
almost daily.
GoDaddy's got billions of dollars because of that.
Yeah. And then you think, oh man, I'm not going to get on the customer service call over $8.
Exactly. I'm like typing my guy, hey, could you get rid of the 864 off there because I just don't want to do it. Yeah, it's crazy. But we're all there. That's what happens. But you just got to sit down. You got to go through your list and take auto renew, and then you'll find out if you really care later.
Yeah, true. All right. Well, Keith, thank you so very much. You contribute so much to this industry, and this is really, brave of you to do, and it's helpful for everyone else who watches. And again, I encourage the Sherpa Network, send your domains in. And let's build strategy and grow into better investment opportunities. Let's take another moment. We'll hear from our sponsors, and then we'll jump into the NameJet domains.
Finally, if you're a domain name investor, don't you have unique legal needs that require domain name technical know-how and industry experience? That's why you need Stephen Lieberman of Greenberg & Lieberman or Jason Schaefer of Esquire.com. Go search for Jason Schaefer or Stephen Lieberman on DomainSherpa, watch their interviews, and you can see for yourself that they can clearly explain issues, can help you with buy-sell agreements, deal with website content issues and UDRP actions, and even help you write your website terms and conditions. Stephen Lieberman and Jason Schaefer are the lawyers to call for internet legal issues. See for yourself at Esquire.com or APlegal.com.
We're going to move on to the marketplace list. This segment is sponsored by NameJet. We are reviewing domain names heading to auction soon. If you like one of the names below, click through soon, because once they go to auction, you lose the chance to put in a minimum bid or even just watch what's going on. The links below go directly to NameJet. We don't get commission or anything. They just want to know, where their traffic's coming from. First, is anyone, are any of these names on the list names that you are selling?
Negative.
No.
Nothing.
Okay, cool. Drew, you're up first on this segment. What names catch your eye?
Okay, so, we've definitely got some good names in here. The 864 is an obvious one, high value name. I'll let Giuseppe touch on that. I honestly don't even really know what the market is on those these days. But I know that it doesn't matter what the numbers are, the three numbers are very valuable. And you don't see them come up on NameJet often, never mind in the market. I like the TIW. I don't know why. I haven't even really researched what the meanings could be there. But I think TIW just looks good. It just sounds familiar to me. It's I like that name. I think City Car is another one. I feel like that is a brand. I feel like that's a household name, City Car. So if it's not, then Smart should own it, or Mini. One of these companies that's their main market, is selling cars that people want to drive and they can park in the city. But that's a great name. I like that one. And then I like Global Care. Globalcare.com. I'm a sort of citizen of the world, as we say. And I can tell you that health insurance is a real pain in the ass for people who travel and move around the world. And so, the idea of Global Care, I think we bought globalsim.com a decade or more ago. And I always like that name because that's another thing that's a pain in the ass. It's every time I'm in a new country, I got to change SIM cards. It's getting better with some of these places offering, international plans, but even there, it's a little clumsy. So I like the idea of anything which lends itself to sort of services, global services, not, services without borders. So Global Care, I think, is a great health insurance or otherwise domain. Obviously there's a couple other three letters. I don't, I will say the VQJ.com, I think that gets a world record. I think that I've never seen a three-letter.com with such a low appraisal on Esteban in my life, ever. In as long as I've been in the industry, I don't think I've ever seen an appraisal on a three-letter.com at $5,000. That's actually impressive.
Do you think that's a reflection of its value?
I mean, look, I'd take that grand domain at $5,000, on the worst day of my life. So I don't think, no, I think that it's a very poor reflection of its value. I think it is probably a very low value three-letter.com, but nonetheless, it is three letters. And I haven't seen one trade at $5,000 since probably, I don't know, 07 or.
But it's also the kind of three-letter that gets traded back and forth amongst domain owners.
Yeah, that's a hot potato.
Yeah, the J is just a terrible Western letter. I mean, I don't know what company would end in J. Yeah, I couldn't think of one word. Jalapenos. I mean,
very quality jalapenos. Sounds like a brand to me.
Very quality jalapenos. Hey, Shane, you could start growing jalapenos on your.
That's why I'm the brand master. I can come up with that. We need to take this brand. We need to have a good domain. What does it? Well, how much is VQJ? Yeah, no, that's the kind that gets passed, no doubt.
Fair enough. All right, Shane, you're up. What do you think?
Well, I mean, anybody who's in this industry knows 864 is going to be the high value name. I've always liked numbers. My question on this, so you got a reserve, I think, of 100 to 200,000 is which direction are the prices going? And do you want to be in a three-letter.com on the way down? And do you think, this is to make money for most of us at a NameJet auction. This isn't an end user auction. So, I love the name. I just don't know if I'm a buyer there, but I mean, that name, those were 500,000, 600,000. Those, you're getting a value compared to where they were. And there's, it's, to me, I like the numbers. I thought the numbers were great brands, memorable brands. 10 years ago, I used to tell people, numbers are the only thing in the world that people speak. When you go to a foreign language, there's going to be different things, but the numbers will always be universal. So I love it. I'd love to see it sell. I really like that name. I get excited when I see three-letter.coms. I've always wanted to own, or three numbers. I've always wanted to own one, and it's a great name. And I'm not scared of four. Four's just like 3 and 5, but in the middle. The one a city car, you're thinking, I know what you're thinking. Is there City Bike in the big cities? Citibank has City Bikes with an I. So if you're in New York, City Bikes are everywhere. So that's probably where you're getting the city car, but it's with an I. So it's a little different spelling, but it doesn't make it less valuable. I think it's really good. Great.
Spelled correctly, right? City
Bike is CITI bike.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Citibank and City.
Issue if somebody else tried to do that, right? Yeah, I
mean, you can get away with city car, but it'd be a tough pull in New York if you've already got City Bike with an I, and it just, but it's still a great brand, no doubt about it. My favorites probably Do Work. I mean, it sounds like something that's already got $1 million seed round before anything even happened. They didn't even say what it does. It just, it's going to be a crowdsourced workplace environment with mobile bicycles in a workout gym. It sounds something that's already been funded. Do Work is just a great brand.
That's on
the surface, I love that one, but the expression is do the work, right? It got made super famous by Bill Belichick last year. So, do the work is like the expression. And so that's why I was like, yeah, Do Work. I mean, it's a good name. But I don't know. I didn't get there with that name.
But some of us don't really like New England. We don't pay attention to that. No, we do know the saying. But I agree with you. But I do think
you don't like New England? You're done. You're out.
I love Brady. He's fine. I like winners. Anybody that wins, I'm a fan of. My wife's always like, "Who are you rooting for?" I go, "The better team." He goes, "That's too easy." I like to see success. there's nothing worse than a crappy team. I'm not going to spend 3 hours watching a team fail and not put their effort. I want to see when Brady pumps his fist after a touchdown and he's up by 21. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. I love people that run up the score. I mean, that's the kind of games I enjoy. It's when you work hard and you do the work, as they say, you got to celebrate a little bit. So that was one I liked. The other one that was, I was going to say the ones that kill me are like names like grape.net. I know .net has no value, but there's just such good quality one words .net, and they're not going to sell to the next person. I mean, I just can't remember the last company that came out with a great .net brand. You just don't see it very often. So every time I see them, my fingers start moving towards the keyboard, and then I back off because of the net. But, I buy them for myself because I think it's the best. When it comes to a smaller company like my nursery, I bought dirt.net. It's a great way to advertise dirt. I mean, you get it for $1,000 and it's memorable. People that pass it on a sign, they don't think .com when they saw it. They remember the .net. It's just when you're building this global brand that it doesn't work quite as well. But I think there's value there as an end user to go to .net. I think it's probably a bad advice as a flipper to try and buy .net and sell it. So that's my thoughts on that list. But it's a pretty good list.
Thanks, Shane. All right, Giuseppe.
Yeah, I mean, I think Drew and Shane pretty much covered it. 864 definitely the best name in the list. So it's a free number. So as Drew said, they don't come often on the market. And the other great thing about this one is that it's a sequence. So it's an 864. And normally in China, we the most buyers that actually like sequences. Now, the thing about this name, the good thing is that there's an 8 and there's a sequence. The bad thing is that it's a decreasing sequence, which is not as valuable as an increasing sequence, which normally is more valuable. And also there's the 4 at the end, which make it a little bit less valuable. But the reserve price, I think, is spot on between 100 and 200K. So yeah, that's pretty much where I see it selling it, between 100 and 200. And there might be also some surprise where it sells for more than 200. The other names I like, again, the 3 letters. Was that?
You think that sells?
Between 100 and 200.
Mm-hmm.
If it's over 100, definitely. If it's over 100, for sure.
No, so over 100. But let's say that it was, I have no idea what the reserve is, but
you think the reserve's closer to 100?
I have no clue. But even if the reserve was 200, do you think this would sell?
It's possible. It's a smaller chance. It's always hard to diagnose, pinpoint the exact break-even points. But yeah, maybe towards 150, maybe yes. And over 150, yes, also, but with less chance. So yeah.
Giuseppe, so the Chinese sequences. You're saying 369, 246. Any can it be sequences but they ascending, not descending?
So ascending, yeah, normally ascending, that's what I like. And any domains 123.com are super valuable. All those ones, they're an amazing value. Then you find, and then if you're starting, let's say at 456, because there's the 4 starting, it's a little bit less valuable.
Yeah, because
Rick Schwartz sold a couple of years ago, right to that end of 2015. It was I think it might have been 345 or.
I think there was Birkins
or Schwartz.
Birkins. It was Michael Birkins, and I think he sold it for.
Right? How much did he go for? Do you remember?
I think 345. He sold it for. I think it was either 500 or 700, between 500 and 700, if I'm correct.
A lot of money. There was a lot of money. I remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's not 2015 anymore, unfortunately, but
no,
but these domains they still have quite some value.
Yeah, DN Journal says it sold for 800,000 in January 5th, 2015 is the date of the article.
All right. There you go.
Yeah. Michael Birkin's company, Most Wanted Domains.
Yeah, 800. This could do well, this 864. I didn't even, I didn't even realize it was a pattern.
But this is decreasing.
Yeah.
It's a descending pattern. So it's not as well liked as the other. And it ends with a 4.
And then
So
It's really easy to remember, 864.
Yeah, it's my mom's area code. South Carolina, which, you know, if it's like a Boston area code, might be a little bigger deal. But just for the Sherpa Network, anyone who doesn't know, 4 kind of rhymes with death in Chinese, and that freaks out the Chinese. So generally you try to avoid the number 4 at all. And then 8 is like life and luck. So not only is this descending, which they don't like in general, but I feel like it starts with life and luck and it ends with death. I mean, they read
That's
a lot
how it goes.
of stuff, so I'm trying to read into it. Is that what they would read and be like, from life to death? Never mind, no?
And somewhere in the middle, you've got 6, which rhymes with sex. So you got life, sex, and death.
There you go.
Now
That's
it
the
sounds really valuable,
the
because
circle of
that's what-
life.
right?
The
That's
circle of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've just created a whole brand out of 864. It's the 864, the circle of life.
Yeah.
I say yes, it hits reserve now.
But it's in sequence, because it could not be it could not be like the other way. It could not be like death, then sex, and then life.
Nah, that'd be
That's
fucked
what
up. Then then we're talking about some exorcism shit.
Wow. Giuseppe, it already
That's good marketing, guys.
Giuseppe, it already looks like you're locked up in a prison or something with that door behind you with the tiny window. Is it
Well, that's a picture frame.
Oh, all right.
People ask if these guys are the same people, because they look like the same and you never see them together. You wonder if one's just faking an accent. So that those guys are they the same person? They look so close to each other.
Yeah, that's me faking the.
What's going on?
No, they're definitely not the same person.
Look at that, a side by side. Surprise, surprise. Giuseppe and Andrew are in the same place.
Oh, man. They took away our gig. Adam Strong and I have been planning that for 3 years, and these guys put it together first.
Get on it. Drew, what was that? Where are you?
We are in Lisbon. We're in my new house, and yeah, we thought it'd be funny to record this episode together at the house. I had the idea to do it literally like on one camera, but then there was some logistical issues with that. So this was plan B. We'll make improvements for the next time.
So Giuseppe moved in with you or what?
I'm
Not
Drew,
yet.
new housemate. Yeah.
That's fabulous. Well, welcome to Lisbon, Drew, to your new home, your new life. And Giuseppe, how fortunate that you're there to welcome him and settle him in, huh? Keep him on track.
Yeah, no, I'm actually super happy. And, like Drew has been, this has been like a long time coming. It took like a lot of effort, but like finally I'm very happy that Andrew is here. And also I'm actually super happy that Lisbon is, it's slowly becoming the capital of domains, because like there's also some other investor which likes to keep a very low profile, but it might comes as well. So I'm really happy that there's so many people coming. There's Web Summit coming up like in a couple of weeks. So yeah, and I hope more people can visit now that there's like both Drew and me here.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, well, for sure. And so ICANN Barcelona is happening right now. Website in obviously Barcelona, and then
Next week it starts.
Oh, sorry. When we air this,
Yeah.
yeah, and then
Good point.
and then Web Summit that's a very small peninsula with a lot happening very locally. Has it always been that way, or you think that's new, Giuseppe, from what you're saying?
Yeah, so when I first came here, it was nothing like. I remember, like, I think I started writing newsletters like back 5 years ago, like talking about Lisbon, and I was just like begging people to visit. It's like, oh, come over to Lisbon, just come visit. And nobody, there was like kind of like silence outside, like nobody will say anything. And now like every week I get someone say, hey, by the way, I'm in Lisbon. Do you want to hang out? So yeah, it's changed a lot. So but it's nice. I really like it.
I mean, I have nothing to base it. You know, I don't have any history. I'm brand new here. I'm a newbie. But from my perspective, this place is booming. It's really, it's an incredible city.
How's ownership on real estate for Americans? Is it a process?
This is really the reason. So, you know, this was the thing. It's like I showed up and I was like, wow, what a city. Why wasn't this on anybody's radar before? And I've had very in-depth conversations with several lawyers and real estate people and investors. And basically, it's for that reason. It's that, you know, it was sort of a holdover from the former socialist government, that they had these super restrictive rental policies. So you couldn't get people out of a building. So you had these incredible buildings and apartments and homes, and people would be paying $100 a month.
So rent control. Rent control.
Yeah.
And so you can't get them out. And so the owners are not incentivized to maintain and renovate the buildings because they're earning no return, you know, from the rent. And nobody wants to invest because you can't rent for much. And so it was just in this limbo. And then after the crisis, probably the best thing they did was dropping the rent control, putting in much more, you know, what do you call it?
Liberal laws, or?
Yeah, liberal real estate laws. And, you know, it just opened up the floodgates for foreign investment. And, you know, and they created some interesting tax incentives for foreigners. They did a lot of things. Actually, I'm pretty impressed. They've done a lot of things right here, as opposed to some of the other places in Europe, like Italy, unfortunately, sorry, and Greece, and you know, even Spain to a lesser extent. But Portugal's really done a lot right, and you can feel it. There's energy here, really, like it's tangible. There's an incredible number of interesting foreign people coming here. The Portuguese people are amazing. They're just like genuine and kind and humble. So anyways, I love it, and I'm glad to be here. And Giuseppe has made my arrival a lot easier. He's been a huge help.
All right.
So anybody else that's coming, to die.
And 3 years from now, we'll see how much Drew has adopted their humility. Humble Drew Rosner coming up next.
In your Spanish, is it helping your Portuguese at all?
Well, my Portuguese, I'm not there yet. I've got 5 words or so, but the Spanish has helped me to communicate where English didn't get by. But English, you pretty much no problem. You get around with English. Most restaurants, most places you go, you can wheel and deal in English. And then where you can't, if you can speak some Spanish, you can sort of
bridge it with a little Spanish.
Yeah, you can bridge the gap.
Hey, we're coming to the end of today's show. Let's do some shout outs real quick. Giuseppe, anything you want to share? What's going on with lxme.com or anything else?
Yeah, sure. So like if anybody is like looking to sell freelancer.coms or to buy, I'd definitely recommend to check lxme.com. The platform is going very well. There's a lot of like buyers looking to buy domains. So it's a perfect place. And yeah, like just if anybody's coming for Web Summit, or even for ICANN in Barcelona, just like shoot me a note. I'll be happy to meet.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much, Giuseppe. How about you, Shane? What's going on? Anything you want to share?
Yeah, no, I mean, I want to thank people, like Giuseppe putting, I'm pretty, I would say open. I don't say honest, but, I give my opinion. I was hard on Giuseppe on his platform. It's a tough, he knows better than anybody. It's a tough thing to do, to open up a platform. And our domain space is small. So you take a small space and then you're trying to specialize within that small space into an even smaller market and create a platform. And, Yeah, I mean, I think it's fantastic. So kudos to Giuseppe for being an innovator in our industry. Where when it comes to his newsletters, definitely sign up for his newsletters. There's tons of information. You know, it's fun for all the drama and the forums and the nitpicking, but the true assets in our industry, like Keith writing and Giuseppe setting up platforms in his newsletters, those are the things you read. Those are the things that are bright spots in our industry. And kudos to all these guys for doing that. The rest of it's just the little planets around that come and go and change with the tides. And Giuseppe's the actual stable earth there in the middle. So I appreciate it. And again, my guys, DSAD, Travis and Josh and Aaron, we're still doing it. It's 10 years straight. I don't, whether you like it or don't like it, it's there every morning for you when you get up to read. So it's kind of like the morning newspaper. You may not read it every day, but it'll be sitting at your doorstep if you want to. So that's what we do over at dsad.com.
Thanks, Shane. Yeah. How about you?
Thank you.
Lisbon Drew.
Yeah, I don't know, not much. We've got a great auction running over at NameJet. You can check that out. x.co/NJ will take you to the auction page. Some great names on there. Some I actually regret even listing.
I'm going to put that on the title.
We're looking for a little bit of liquidity after a couple of big acquisitions, and we've made a few big sales since then. And I would actually be a little disappointed to see those sell at wholesale prices. So if you want them, get them now because they aren't coming back. And that's it. Thank these guys for coming on. I'm really excited to, it's been 5 months of really living like a gypsy. And so I'm pretty grateful to be settling down, putting down some roots, getting back to work really. So pretty excited. You're going to see a lot more coming from all angles of the media options, DomainSherpa empire.
And Domain's paid for it.
And Domain's paid for it. That's right.
I got you while I got you here on camera. I put up a little poll. See what you thought about it. Whether you, Birkins, or Schwartz would end up making the most money when it's all said and done. You think that you're going to surpass those guys in due time? You know what your number is. You're talking 35, 40 million. You think there's that much money in domain investing?
Depends on how long you stay in it. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know if we're going to get there. We'll see.
You think you got the drive to keep on rolling? That's the hardest part of anything. When you do well, you get kind of tired of the hustle.
Here's the thing. I would say everybody's got ups and downs. And I've maybe a year and a half ago, I was pretty down. I was kind of tired of it. Mostly tired of just the trolls and the douchebags in this industry, of which there are many. And I was ready to throw in the towel to some extent, not completely. But I truly, no matter what, this last few months has given me a lot of perspective on a lot of different things. One is which I really got to start focusing back on my health. But on this topic, man, I'm doubling down. I'm doubling down on domains because I've met so many people who make a great living doing so many different things. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't trade with any of them. There is not a better industry or business on earth than domain names. If you know what you're doing, if you put it into work, do work. You can't be lazy. If you're lazy, you're not going to make it anywhere. But if you do the work, if you study hard, if you network and you talk to the smart people in the business and you just put your head down and just do the goddamn work. Just put your head down and do the work. Stop bullshitting. Get off of places like NamePros. You're wasting your freaking time. If you're spending your day on NamePros, I can promise you're not making money in this business. It's fact, absolute fact. There's nobody who makes money in this business spending their day on NamePros. You want to be spending your time with the people that you want to become. You want to be talking to the people who are doing it better than you. I know that you go on, somewhere and you start talking to a bunch of newbies and makes you feel great like you've done something, but you don't want to talk to the people. I mean, it's always great to give back and talk to people who are trying to become you, but you want to be spending your time talking to people who you want to become, who can help you be better at this. So anyways, I really do love domains. I just think, every once in a while you take a right hook and you think, wow, man, the market's shit, or, something else is shit, or, whatever. But at the end of the day, domain names are foundational to the most important economy on the planet. And until somebody shows me really convincing evidence otherwise, I don't see that changing anytime in the near term. And, if you know what you're doing and you're buying good domains, I don't see them getting, obviously markets have cycles, but these things are inherently becoming more valuable because the scarcity is increasing and the number of people who want them is increasing. So you do the math.
I'm
that was
right
a long
there
answer
with you.
to your question.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you have names that a company would name themselves, you're going to do fine. Time will take care of you. And that's where, all three of us have been doing this a while now, and you guys are obviously at different levels, but the fact of the matter is you put in the time takes care of you, because after 7 or 8 years, as long as you bought names that a company would name themselves, realistically, you're going to be fine. And for me, I'm at a great point. It's paying off finally after time. All those names I bought 6, 7, 8 years ago for $100 now are $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, and I get regular income. And that's the goal of everybody in there. And I will say on Name Pros, everything has its value. You have to be smart on where you put your time. Twitter, you can go down a pigeonhole or whatever they call a rabbit hole, and anything you go. If I'm on Twitter and I start moving left and right, next thing I know, I'm looking at, Jimmy Garoppolo's knee injury, and I've just strayed all the way to the right. Name Pros, I posted today, there's some great data, what sold that day from all the different, if you want to learn what sold, there's information there. But if you get stuck in the 40-page thing about somebody stinks and somebody's an ass, you've just wasted your entire day. That's not what the domain investing is all about. But people are comfortable in that role. I mean, everybody likes to be surrounded by people that are like them, that give them affirmation, and they're, that's just the world. That's how it works. But you got to step out of that, get a little uncomfortable, as I always say, and learn about domains and kudos to Birkins and Schwartz. But I think if you can keep your drive up, I know you more than anybody else and I know that you are going to have that kind of money. And that's why I'm riding your coattails, and I'm going to stay in that bedroom where he is in Portugal when I come visit.
And talking about getting uncomfortable, submit your domains to DomainSherpa.
Yeah.
I think it is uncomfortable.
If you did it before, go and you've gotten better, do a second list. Maybe we can cut you a deal on that one. And I'd like to see how you've improved. I think that's a good story too. We've seen a lot of lists over the years. Come back and show us how much better you've gotten. We'll be a little easier on you if it got better.
That's a great idea. I would love to see some of these people that we've reviewed over the years, especially the ones that we trashed, the hardest. I'd love to see some of those people come back and, show us how they bought better names and,
Yeah, it'd be good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now Shane has he's going on a date with his wife very soon. We got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Shout out also MediaOptions.tv. Check it out for our YouTube channel going up. That will take you straight to the YouTube channel. Chris Zeiker has been working very hard on that, and we're excited that will be up and running by the time this show airs. So that's all for now, folks. Thank you guys for your time. Have a wonderful date. Take time to go shave. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.